Hello and welcome back. Today we will be continuing our Atheist Papal States run, which admittedly has been shelved for a little while, but that's probably a good thing because if you touch your run too much, you'll go blind. Last episode we secured more of Ethiopia here, and we also passed Interventionism, which is, you know, kind of a poor man's laissez-faire, but we'll make do for a while. We really have to pass a lot of laws. I learned in the interim, since we last kind of did this episode or this run, that in order to get onto atheism, we have to first go to some sort of other monarchy, republic, whatever. Then we have to pass state atheism. And then we can go back to theocracy, but it's going to be a bit tricky because state atheism is in fact going to nuke us in that interim. Also, when we swap off of theocracy, we'll become Roman, and so this is kind of what we're dealing with right now. With interventionism, though, there is one upside to interventionism. Now, I don't like it, but you can subsidize stuff. And so we can subsidize the paper, and then we can become the paper states. So we might be doing that, exporting paper to everyone, and we have also declared an interest in Indonesia, and we're going to look to expand there. I never thought I'd say this, but it's big nice we have racial segregation here. The war is going quite well in Brunei. We, of course, are now on that 3-boat game, that hot, not one boat, but we got 3. We do have a lot of law passes we need to get through, though, and unfortunately, I think we're going to come and play a little Roman, a little toga, a little et brute. We're going to try and go parliamentary republic. Hopefully this doesn't radicalize. Ooh, this radicalizes a lot. I do think this is a rev that we might have trouble with, and maybe it will be easier to come off of monarchy than it will be, perhaps it will be easier to come off of monarchy to theocracy later, even though we'd rather have parliamentary republic, I think. I'm not exactly sure. We can stay oligarchy if we would like, but we do have to start getting moving on some of these. I do think we want to come off of this eventually at some point. Anyways, off of charity hospitals, we are running a negative bureaucracy, but this isn't really a priority. And racial segregation should allow our guys to move around a little bit more, despite us having no migration controls. So I think we're going to switch to monarchy. Let's take a look here. Who do we have in? We have the Roman landowners in and the industrialists in, and we can make a more legitimate government with the armed forces if we wanted. Since we're coming off of theocracy, we of course cannot put them in government, so let's take a look who supports this. It looks like the landowners do not like this, but the industrialists do. Man, the landowners are going to stand against us as we try and... The industrialists are really strong, though. And the industrialists, I think we can go monarchy here. Or actually, let's go parliamentary republic. Yeah, it's unfortunate you have to wait like a tick. But I think we want to go parliamentary republic because that way we will be fully Roman. Now, I think this will cause a rev. We'll see about what we can do for fighting it and this sort of thing. But I imagine it revs, and we'll probably use Ethiopian forces to try and put that down. We get our double landing on here in Zulu. We did, in fact, enforce in Borneo, which, very importantly, we are doing for the gold. It's all about the Benjamins. But here, just love to see this double landing. We're fighting a battle against 0 guys. You know, I really don't know which will win, the 10,000 Italians or the 0 Zulu men. But I have a sneaking suspicion. Oh, yep, they win. What do you see? And then, of course, we do have this revolution of brewing. I have to imagine that it pops, and there we go. We have a rev. And so we will be trying to fight the rev. The Roman aristocratic revolt has had enough of this. We will finish this up, and then we will be having ourselves a good old-fashioned revolution. I think we should be in pretty good shape here, but we're probably going to need to conscript up at the very least. Something incredibly awkward has happened. Russia has sided with the Roman aristocratic revolt, and so I don't think we're going to be going to a parliamentary system here. There's not much way that we could possibly really fight this, but fortunately, the aristocratic revolt is monarchical, and the whole point is we just need to get off of being, you know, what is it? Let's come in here. We need to get off of being a theocracy so that we can pass state atheism so we can move back to theocracy. So we're pretty okay with going the other way on this one. So we're just going to do the old switcheroo. And say thank you very much, Russia, for, you know, kind of doing this. We know you're obviously going to enforce and not lose this war, hopefully. This is not our war anymore. It is now belonging to the Papal States. Two Sicilies sides with the Papal States, which is a bit interesting. Can we put in war goals on Two Sicilies? No, we can't. But hopefully the Two Sicilies gets clapped. We'll have to make sure... we already activated all the conscripts, and we're in horrible shape right now. So we have a bunch of excess authority, so we're going to put down some decrees, like a lot of decrees. We're going to put down enlistment efforts here and here. We're going to put down road maintenance here and here. And then we're going to also put down encourage resource industry where we were before. And then we don't have enough for encourage manufacturing. Actually, we do. Just kidding. We found some over here. And so we're going to encourage manufacturing over here. And now we should be in relatively good shape. We'll decrease this. We're hemorrhaging some money. We're actually going to pause construction for now, until this all shakes out for the best, obviously, and hopefully Russia actually helps us here. They haven't committed any troops, but I think we win this as long as they help us. If they don't, then that sucks, because that's why we swapped. So the AI really bugs me sometimes here. It looks like the Russians have committed exactly 4 troops, or these 4 troops are from a different ally. I think they're just from the Russians. They committed 4 battalions to try and do this, and it's like, why side in the first place? You know, we switched sides to what looks like it's going to be winning the Civil War, and then now there's like no way we can win against Two Sicilies and, you know, the Papal States. In this situation, there's like no way to play it, and we tried to switch to the conservative side, knowing that Russia was going to like join in. This is crazy. We're going to take a bit of a load and look to play the other side of this exact war. So we went back to fight this 1v1, and it looks like it's going all right. There was absolutely no way we could, you know, fight against Two Sicilies and like Papal States on one side in that one thing, and that's just like... It's so wild. I've seen that a couple times with the GPs signing and contributing literally nothing, but can you imagine playing on Iron Man and we wouldn't be able to do that? We took the conservative option, we just switched sides in the revolution. We're like, okay, you know, we're just gonna do a different revolution, and then the entire run would have been bricked there if we were playing on Iron Man, even though we switched sides to what looked like, you know, the conservative choice for this sort of thing, which is just absolutely insane, you know, that it's like that. And of course we're about to enforce on them here because we're like full occupying them, but it's just like the AI is sometimes just completely unhinged in terms of like the way it behaves. Like, first of all, joining and then doing absolutely nothing in the case of the Russians, because they join off an obligation, but then they decide, I don't really feel like it. And it's like, well, then why join, my guy? Like, it sends very mixed messages to the player. And in terms of improving the game, that would be something that'd be pretty high up there. You know, when someone joins a play, they should actually be relatively committal. We saw this a little bit with the Ottomans run, where we got like France on our side and they did literally nothing, and it's just like, you shouldn't they shouldn't be on your side if they're going to contribute literal 4 battalions out of like 300 that they have available. Big sad. Looks like the AI deleted about all of our construction. We had about 60 going into this Civil War, and now we're going to need to crank it back up. This is a huge portion of like what was stimulating our economy, and so obviously the tools are now very cheap, and the iron's very, very cheap, and probably can't employ all the way. Well, it's actually not very, very cheap, but the tools are cheap, and so we're going to try and get things back up and running. You know, once this comes up, we should have a bit of a come up. We should be in good shape, and we should be able to go parliamentary republic. Long live the Republic of Rome, et tu Brutus. So I was wondering why the economy was not bouncing back, and then I realized in order to win this war, or in order to make it a little bit more smooth, we put in enlistment efforts, and we had gotten rid of all these edicts here. These edicts are pulling a huge weight in our economy, so I think it's just worth kind of going over briefly. We're doing road maintenance in both. We would have insufficient market access without them, and in fact we have insufficient right now even with them on, and this is where basically our entire economy is for both Romania and Tuscany. Here we have all of our mines, our resources, and here we have, of course, all of our tooling workshops, which are very, very big, nice. And so as we put in these edicts, and there's a second for time to adjust, you know, our economy should be healing a little bit. Now, we aren't back up to 30 construction, 60 construction, which is what we were at before. We're hoping to eventually get there, but now we're starting to get in better shape. We're starting to recover. We don't want to run a huge deficit, especially as a minor power. We could maybe swing it as a major power, but, you know, the interest rate is too expensive, and we're going to look to pull back this interest rate and kind of stay at 40 construction for a little hot minute. As far as going down to Orania, this is also big nice. Everything's coming up big nice, but Orania in particular has a bunch of gold fields already discovered, so this is going to give us a huge, you know, positive balance in terms of just dividends to our country. This is one of the reasons why South America is just like the go-to for every single expansion if you're looking to stay low infamy, which we are. We're just conquering it straight up, and water tube boiler is going to be huge nice because we actually very large. Ooh, this wasn't even a condensing pump engine. That also explains a lot. A big chunk of our economy is in mines right now. We have a decent amount of mines, and we have a decent amount of tooling workshops, and ooh, these were not on steel tools. Yeah, the PMs got swapped with the revolution as well, which is never very nice, and so we're kind of sticking everything back where it belongs. You know how it is. And did these come off too? Oh man, they swapped everything. Which of course makes sense because their market implodes when they create a revolution, and now we just get to swap everything back and get everything running back up again. Just a bit of an uncomfortable civil war. We are keeping this on simple ranches instead of intensive grazing ranch. That way we depress the price of fertilizer, which does two things. It causes us to build fewer wheat farms. We would rather, for example, build fisheries, which is a substitute good. We'll just put that on auto expand to kind of help out with that. And then also, it makes it so that our chemical plants could be a little bit more profitable once we get the boom booms going, which we haven't gotten going yet, but we're kind of set up for the going of the boom booms. And now, just after adjusting all those PMs, now everything looks a little bit better in the balance, and so things will hopefully start coming along a lot better now. So while recruiting a general, we have found this boyo who is a positivist, which is an ideology we want to keep an eye out for because they endorse state atheism. So we're going to first recruit him, and then we're going to promote him all the way. Now, can we actually... Ooh, can we... No, we can't put him in government, unfortunately. This would be really nice if we could put him in government, but he is leading the battalions in the Arabia HQ. We'll assign him to a front as well, because he'll be helping us for going after Transvaal. Notably on both Transvaal and Orania, we'll delete this, but notably on both of these, they are going to be, European in terms of... incorporation, which is going to be super nice for us because we can incorporate them quickly, and they have a ton of resources, namely coal, which is lacking in most of the Italian peninsula here, and so this is going to help us out. It's going to be a very nice conquer spot. We've also declared some interest over here in Argentina and Chile. We might look to puppet them, dominion them. We still have interest over here. We might have to go after Bulungen and Sintang, mainly because Bulungen has oil eventually, and we'll keep an eye on if the gold fields appear here, but we might just go for it because they're more likely to appear when we have control. And so this is the way things are currently going. I guess we'll also take a look at institutions here. We do want to increase several of these institutions. Namely, we do want to make sure that the Roman Curia does not get marginalized entirely, but we'll go for colonial affairs for now. And the reason being is we do need to swap back to we're going to need to swap back to theocracy in order to re-become the papal states or the papal states, because once we go parliamentary republic, we will be like the Roman Republic or some other such nonsense. I haven't really heard of this country before, but apparently it was a country like 1500 years ago, the Roman Republic, and so we'll become that. And so okay, we also want to keep an eye out for agitators, specifically positivists and nihilists, so that we can enact state atheism following becoming the Roman or the Omaran, something like that, republic. Never heard of it before. Must be a weird thing. Hey, we pass parliamentary republic and we become the Roman Republic. Wow, what a great and honorable thing. This guy stays in charge, and he is a protectionist industrialist, so that's kind of cool. Well, I mean, it's kind of cool. When he was in charge of the interest group, it made it, which I believe he was. No, he was the Pope. He's the previous Pope. Now he's the Chancellor of the Roman Republic. He's still chilling with it. And so now what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to pass state atheism, which there's not currently a good way, because as we did look through the agitators, we couldn't find one that would support state atheism, I don't think. These guys radical. We can't even invite everyone, but we can invite more since we passed what is it? Since we passed racial segregation, that's why we passed racial segregation, so we could try and invite more guys. But I think we could stay oligarchy. Maybe we could go technocracy. I don't think we want to go too heavy into this because we don't want to dilute the religious power too much. Another reason why I think we want to stay on charity hospitals and religious schools, because we do eventually have to come back to theocracy. And so let's take a look at land-based taxation. Per capita taxation is an easy pass. Proportional taxation we don't have the tech for yet. Let's take a look at how close we are. We're researching it currently, and so maybe we hold off on going per capita because we'd rather just wait for proportional, which leaves us in a spot where, okay, I guess we go no migration controls. I think this is best. I'm not really sure. I do believe it's no migration controls here. I suppose we would want to swap to, maybe homesteading would be okay to kneecap the... No, we have the unique... these guys are going to have a come back up, but we have a unique interest group in the Roman landowners because they're pontifical and they endorse theocracy, which is going to make switching back to theocracy a lot easier. And so we don't necessarily want to kneecap them. So I think we're going to go no migration controls. Anyone can move anywhere in this Roman Republic of ours. Big, beautiful red, et tu Brutus. I'm sure that our Chancellor, nothing will ever bad will happen to him. But yeah, we're continuing along with the expansion in Transvaal. This is very exciting. To anyone who doesn't know, you become the Roman Republic. I believe if you're presidential, you might get a different looking flag, or I'm certain you get a different looking flag. But right now it's not very Roman looking, the flag. But we'll see how things can go and continue on. So right as we finished annexing Sintang here, we got a little bit of rev here, which was nice because we could just directly put our guy in. So if you're going to rev, it's going to rev at that time, so that was nice. We also got back up to the 65-ish construction, and now we're at a little bit of a choice. So here's the thing. Well, first of all, some people want to pass protectionism, but I'm not so certain I like this, or I do like this, but I'm not so certain through this kind of support versus this kind of support. I think we'd rather go free trade, but we're actually at an excellent point to go laissez-faire, and it's just so awkward because, you know, I kind of want to meme and do the paper states, but I also really like laissez-faire way better than, you know, interventionism. So this is kind of an awkward situation. We also want to go, you know, rights of assembly at some point, or at least there's a petition in our government to go it, so this could be a thing. And finally, we'll be getting our new tax method in about 15 months, so we don't want to actually do anything that's too crazy or difficult to pass. And so I think what we want to do is, I think we want to go, not laissez-faire right now, although we do want to go laissez-faire right now. I think we want to go free trade for now, which is going to help us to kind of get people, miners and stuff into the market. So we're going to go free trade for now. We've picked up a lot of dirt here, and here, kind of all the gold-producing dirt on top of, you know, some coal. And so I think after this, we will be kind of looking back into going after, you know, the North German miners and this type of stuff to start building our unholy Roman Empire. It will be Roman at this point, because, you know, it says it. Roman Republic. There we go. Also, these guys didn't have access for quite a while, and so hopefully they don't rev. We might go after Gaza just to annex it, just in case they rev. I'm not sure if we'll get military access through them if we have a revolution. I'm not sure if... it looks like Zulu does get called in, so we will have military access if these guys rev over here as a result of not having any sort of access for a while, but now they have access, which is super big nice. But I think we're going to be kind of returning our attention up here into North Germany while trying to stay low infamy and trying to vassalize diplomatically the people in the Italian peninsula. Well, we might do these guys militarily because they're so small, but I think they're still under Austria's protection. Also, very notably, we are exporting paper to both Austria and France now. Now, if we can get these routes big enough and we can become the paper states instead of the papal states, what we can do is, as soon as we get a war, these trade routes cancel, right? And so what will happen is this will crash their bureaucracy, because their bureaucracy is dependent on this, which will cause them to have like a sort of debt spiral and make bankruptcy very likely. I think this is kind of an interesting meme type thing. We're going to go for it and see if it works. But that is going to be that is going to be next episode. This episode, we've become the Roman Republic. Et tu Brutus, and we're stuck in. We also, you know, managed to make a little bit of progress in the gold getting front. And man, I love this red color way more than the white. But I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And other than that, click the notification button. No, just kidding. Other than that, have a good day. Well, I wasn't kidding, but you get the idea. Have a good one.